Barbados than fancy hotels, sandy beaches, and golf courses. There's a whole agricultural industry at the foundation of this small country, an industry that's currently in rough seas.
I've always wanted to work with goats. I don't know what drew me to them. Perhaps it's their square pupils, or their cheese, or their human-like screams. Whatever it was, I'm here now, and I'm happy.
So we ask ourselves, are the goats happy? Are the farmers happy? And if not, how can we make it so? There's a simple one-word answer to this.
Barbados, dairy goats are fed a diet of hay and a manufactured concentrate feed.
Concentrate feed is considered essential for both protein and energy requirements for milk production, but represents a huge portion of the costs of production.
A reduction in costs could help encourage livestock production in Barbados.
We've decided to start the Leucaena Trail because of the high price of concentrate feed on the island. And we had a visit from a consultant, Dr. Sanchez, who advised us that we should be feeding more leguminous crops to the goats to produce milk than feeding concentrates. He said that right now we're feeding 80% of concentrates and 20% of fiber. And it should be the other way around, that we should be feeding 80% of fiber and 20% of concentrates, which would make the milk production a lot more profitable.
We conducted an experiment to see if Leucaena, a high-protein weed, can be used to reduce the reliance on concentrate without sacrificing milk quality and quantity.
Leucaena is a leguminous tree that can be used as forage. It is found growing in the wild and in abundance throughout Barbados. With fast growth rates, it can be harvested sustainably. There is a lot of Leucaena growing around the Greenland Livestock Research Station.
Here at Greenland Livestock Research Station, a small government-run farm with 46 dairy goats, there are 3 goat breeds: Alpine, Canine, and Toggenburg.
This is Lucille. She's an Alpine. She's supposed to have a passion for Pangola, but we frequently find her trying to eat the Leucaena.
This is Teeth. She's a Canine. She's also the prettiest goat, as you can see. Come on.
This is Ginny, a Toggenburg goat. She's the smallest in her pen, but the most perkiest.
Separately, we tested their responses to 3 treatments. Our first treatment is our control. It is similar to the traditional diet of dairy goats at Greenland. Each goat is fed 3 pounds of concentrate feed and Pangola hay ad lib. Our second treatment is also fed 3 pounds of concentrate per goat, but instead of Pangola, these goats are given Leucaena ad lib. Our third treatment is fed half the amount of concentrate, 1.5 pounds per goat, and given Leucaena ad lib. 27
goats were used in this experiment, with 3 goats of each breed per treatment. The results of the experiment will allow us to compare the effects of replacing Pangola hay with Leucaena, and to demonstrate whether Leucaena has a high enough energy content to substitute concentrate feed.
Leucaena is harvested daily along the borders of the farm. A machete is used to fell Leucaena trees, and workers remove the green leaves and non-woody branches to be put into bags. About 6 bags are harvested daily, 1 for each pen that consumes Leucaena. The Leucaena is very quick to regrow, making this method of harvest very sustainable. These trees were just harvested weeks ago, and fresh growth is already occurring on the tree stumps.
The Leucaena and Pangola hay are weighed when added. The leftovers are also weighed to keep track of forage consumption. The concentrate is measured in the same way. With this data, feed consumption can be correlated with milk production and weight gain.
The goats are weighed weekly to monitor the effects of the different diets on weight and to correlate this with milk yield.
The volume of milk that the goats produce is recorded daily by an automated computer system. The goats come in, her teats are clean, and the chip around her ankle is scanned so her milk yield can be recorded by the computer.
Milk quality characteristics such as protein, fat, and water content are recorded weekly. A small sample is taken from each goat, put on the machine, which sucks up the sample, and the characteristics are printed out like a receipt.
Samples of young leaves, old leaves, green pods, and dried brown pods were collected, dried, and sent to Canada for nutrient analysis. A sample of Pinnacle dairy ration was also sent. This was done so that the nutritional value of all 3 treatments could be evaluated and compared.
After working at Greenland for 8 weeks, it was time to go for a long walk and ruminate on our results.
No significant difference in milk quantity or quality between the 3 treatments was found. As such, we can conclude that a Leucaena-based diet is adequate to support the nutritional needs of a lactating goat.
The results of the nutrient analysis show that overall, Leucaena has a lower crude protein content and mineral content than Pinnacle dairy ration. However, given the cost of Leucaena, it is economically feasible to feed the goats more to match the nutritional value of the concentrate. Further, we observed increased Leucaena consumption as the experiment proceeded, and the goats became more enthusiastic about this new forage.
To feed a herd of 50 goats for 1 year, we estimated that the low-concentrate Leucaena diet, treatment 3, costs over $4,000 less than the high-concentrate Pangola diet, treatment 1. In short, substituting concentrate for Leucaena can maintain milk production and lower production costs.
The use of Leucaena is highly recommended in order to reduce the dependence on concentrate feed and lower production costs. However, the reduction in cost that we observe may not be great enough to attract farmers and provide motivation for the adoption of a Leucaena diet. Mechanized, large-scale harvesting could further reduce its cost. Better still, allowing the goats to freely graze Leucaena could lower harvesting costs to almost nothing.
Ideally, an agroforestry system with Leucaena and Pangola grass is advised. Additionally, there are other legumes and alternative forages available that could be incorporated into such a system, contributing to a greater biodiversity and ecosystem functioning.
Right, the next stage, we are hoping that the next set of yearling goats, that we would introduce them at an early stage to the Leucaena, so that by the time they get into milk production, we could feed them full Leucaena and a reduced concentrate level, and to see if their milk production is the same as the trial before.
In conclusion, Leucaena makes for happy and healthy goats, and, with reduced production costs, for happy farmers too. The tides of change are coming, and Leucaena will captain the ship of alternative feeds.
Everyone has their unique Leucaena harvesting techniques. Us well-trained harvesters especially have very particular techniques. I like to taste my Leucaena before making sure it's ready to harvest, personally.
Were collected, dried, and sent to Canada for nutrients.